Welcome, friends. James Corbett, CorbettReport.com, coming to you in August of 2023 with another edition of Solutions Watch. And you will recall that just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about laughing at tyrants as a solution that we should have in our tool belt. And you'll remember that I talked to Benny Wills as part of that conversation. We talked about his work with Joy Camp and why we should be and how we can be better at laughing at tyrants, etc. But you'll know Benny Wills because he has been a guest on the Corbett Report many, many times in the past, including specifically on Solutions Watch, not only at laughing at tyrants, but you'll remember a couple of years ago we talked about communicating this info to others, where we were talking about an online course that he was running at that time called Parrhesia. Well, Parrhesia is no more, but there is a new online course that Benny Wills is offering at bennywills.com. It is called the Self-Reliant Way, and here to talk to us about this course is none other than Benny Wills. Benny, thanks for joining us again today.
Hey, it's my pleasure as always, James. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent. Well, let's get right into it. The Self-Reliant Way. What on earth is this course about? Who is it intended for? And how do people get signed up for it?
Yeah, so this is a course specifically designed for men. And it's almost like the evolution of Parrhesia. Now, people can still purchase the Parrhesia course. I will just no longer be running a workshop to coincide with it. So that's still available. I still would hope people would seek out how to be better communicators. But through Parrhesia and the workshop aspect of it in particular, I feel like I uncovered a greater problem, which is that of unfulfillment, to put it sort of broadly. But what I noticed in working with people for 3 years, that while communication can suffer, what's underneath that is just a general lack of purpose and an overwhelming. People are overwhelmed by how bad things are, to the point where they are stuck in a state of paralysis. They're so keenly aware of all that is bad, and they're just seeing all these agendas taking place, and they're seeing their friends and family fall for it, and they just become stuck. So I'm helping men essentially get unstuck and back on track, because if you stand a chance at, opposing or creating some sort of resistance against the agendas that you're seeing, you have to step into your power. So that's what I'm helping men do now with the Self-Reliant Way.
Excellent. Well, I will refrain from using the black pill metaphor, because I know you're not a fan of the pill metaphors, but I can attest from the feedback that I get in the work that I do that there are a lot of people out there who do seem to be pretty much on the verge of, if not already giving up, as it were, on life and finding all of this meaningless. They get down the rabbit hole and discover, wow, everything's pitch black down here, what's the point, and kind of give up. And that is an all too often encountered reality, unfortunately, in at least the spaces that I'm walking in. So this is, I would imagine, genuinely useful for a wide selection of the audience. But I guess the first question that a lot of people might have, is then who's this Benny Wills, and how does he know what I should be doing with my life?
Boy, well, because I've been there. I've been that guy. I mean, I've overdosed on red pills, and I've been black pilled. I've been the conspiracy guy. Those who know me from Joy Camp know that I even had a character called the conspiracy guy, which is me making fun of myself. And so I've been doing this. I've been going down the rabbit hole for 20 years, and I know how limiting it can become. I know how stifling it can be for my own life. And I've noticed, I learned how do I say this? I adopted the same victim consciousness by being stuck in the rabbit hole that I see in people whose opinions, coincide with the mainstream. I was guilty of that as well, of outsourcing my responsibility because things were so bad, blaming my own lack of momentum, my own lack of progress on things like the government or, the Freemasons or the World Economic Forum, whatever it is. I was doing that same thing, and I've brought myself out of that. And on top of that, I've been working already for 3 years with people who are stuck in that place as well, and helping them come out of it to help their communication. But, better communication comes along with stronger self-confidence, more zest for life, just living with purpose so that you're not as concerned with some of these trivial conversations. So I've already been coaching people in this way, and I've brought myself out of that state, and I'm living a really good life.
I'm tempted to ask This is a silly question, but maybe I should ask it. What is the point of life? I mean, I guess that's kind of what this comes down to, because there are a lot of people who are simply looking for that meaning and purpose that they don't have if they think that their life is all controlled by outside entities. So I'm assuming a lot of this has to do with finding your own meaning and purpose in life. Am I off base with that?
Yes, you are. And I think that the key to finding purpose in life is living with purpose. So taking aim at something, getting in motion, setting your sights on something and going for it. And maybe that's not your end all be all purpose, but just by living with that intention and taking action like that, you will arrive at a purpose, a greater purpose. But you have to get unstuck first. You have to take the first step. You have to be in motion to find it. So yeah, if you're going to sit there and wonder, what's my purpose in life? You're probably not going to figure it out. But if you take aim at something that you need to solve, a problem of yours that you need to solve, you will get in the habit of doing that, and you will inevitably find your purpose by living with purpose.
All right, then. So walk us through the mechanics of the course. And once someone signs up, what's going to happen and what will they be going through in this?
Yeah. So we identify exactly that which doesn't serve the individual. So what is limiting their experience? Is it their habits? What's their routine? How do they manage their time? What beliefs do they have that are keeping them stuck? What elements of their past, like what stories are they telling themselves? What people are in their lives that aren't moving them forward in a constructive way or don't encourage them in some way? We identify all that, and then we eradicate it. We clean the slate to reveal the person, who they are. What are they about? What's important to them? What problems do they need to solve in order to move forward in life? Like, how do we get them back on track? And then we create a blueprint towards figuring out, well, first we create a vision, and then we create the blueprint for achieving that vision in your life with a very boots on the ground method. So it's like problem solving. So this is the goal. You're here. How do we get from here to there? And we'll specifically figure it out. And I'm there every step of the way to, help see what you can't see and to keep you on track and to get you where you need to go. Because that's what this world needs. If you want to fight the powers that be, you got to be powerful. And I'm not even saying you have to fight them, but you have to find that power in yourself to have any sort of impact in life. And so many people I worked with and who I see and who I know are they're just apathetic, or they're so discouraged, they are miserable.
And this will be structured similar to Parrhesia, where there will be online meetings, discussions, as well as offline coursework?
So it's different in Parrhesia in that Parrhesia was a course complemented by a workshop. This is the workshop complemented by a course. So there's a very extensive framework course that goes along with it, but the primary aspect of it is the coaching program, the working with me and figuring out what needs to happen for you.
All right. And how do people sign up again?
All they do is go to bennywills.com and they schedule a call with me so we can talk and see if it's a good fit, because I can't take anybody. I mean, whereas Parrhesia was sort of a click and purchase product, this is something we have to figure out together whether or not it's a good fit. So if you're interested in what I'm saying, and you can schedule a call, and then we'll just talk and we'll see if this is the right program for you. Because sometimes people, they think they say they want to change, but then when confronted with the opportunity to change, they make excuses, or they shy away, or they find 10 reasons why not. And I want to work with someone who's ready, because I think this is a really surefire framework. And yeah, I want to get you the results that you desire. Right.
And on that note, I mean, I know you say that this is obviously targeted towards young men who are trying to find their way in the world. If a young woman was interested, would you turn her away?
Yeah, I would at the moment. Maybe not forever, but to start. I'm working with men because I think, well, for one, on a spiritual level, I'm being called to lead men into this world. I have 2 young boys and I have a third one on the way. So My oldest son is only 2. My second son is 1, and I'll have a newborn in November. And when we found out it was a boy, it all clicked for me. I was like, oh, this is like my calling. I'm literally being called to lead these boys into manhood in a world that doesn't seem to like men very much. Men who think for themselves, men who are individuals, men who step away from the herd and actually embrace their true masculinity, and not the, I don't know, not like the Andrew Tate, what is that called? Mansphere type masculinity, but like just being in your power. So that was what sort of sealed the deal for me with this. And then, yeah, just through the Parrhesia course and working with so many people, hundreds of people over the past few years, the men really do need leadership. Men need leadership. And I feel like I can help them. So maybe it'll evolve into something that I can open up to the women. But if you're a woman and you're watching this and you know someone, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your son, maybe it's your cousin or someone, send them my way. This is for men, and for now it'll stay that way.
All right, well, the Corbett Report has a pretty wide audience, a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, so this will not apply to all of them, but to those, specifically those young men who do find themselves in that situation, that are watching right now and are at least interested. This is your chance, Benny. This is your chance to issue your call to action. Talk to those people directly and tell them why they should be signing up with you.
Because society doesn't want you to step into your power. It's true. There is a conspiracy against manhood. And if you hate the trends you're seeing in the world and you're doing nothing to move your own life forward, then they have you exactly where they want you. You are not a threat. Individuals change the way people think. And if people change the way they think, society changes. So you have to step into your power in order to represent any sort of change you want to see in the world. It literally is up to you. You have to stop waiting for everyone else to wake up and come along with you. It has to be you. And the first step is dropping your baggage and stop blaming, stop whining, stop complaining, own up, accept where you are, forgive yourself, and move forward. And I can help you do that.
That's a message that resonates with me quite deeply, because no one came along to hand me anything on a silver plate. I just started doing this work and created the Corbett Report out of it, and it's been a lot of work, but it's been definitely worth the effort. So I can understand that idea, that life is essentially one big call to action, and it is your choice whether you're going to step up to that plate and take it or not. So I'm sure there are some people right now that are willing to step up to that plate, and they're going to go to bennywills.com. I'm assuming that's where they can find all the information about this and any further information that they'll have before they decide to sign up.
Yeah, and I just want to say that if you really want to expand the way you view this situation now, accept that the world is always going to be somewhat bad. There's always going to be problems. And what I like to tell people, or not I like to tell them, but I tell them, everything that is bad, all things ugly, all things heinous, horrendous, imbalanced, etc., it's all happening right now. It's always happening. At the same time, all things beautiful are always happening right now. All things love, kindness, etc., they're all happening right now. And I see a lot of people outsourcing their responsibility for living in the moment and taking charge of their lives because of some future event. Well, it's inevitable. The next thing is inevitable. The collapse is inevitable. It's all going to fall apart. Doomsday will come. And when you develop that mindset, you almost need it to happen to justify why you're not doing anything today. So if it happens, it's like, yes, I told you. And then it justifies why you couldn't take action today. So don't fall into that trap. Things that are bad are already happening. And it's always that way. Reality is always this way. And it's always your opportunity to overcome that challenge and play your role in this story. And yeah, so that's it. There is information on my website, bennywills.com. Schedule the call with me and we can really get into more details and more specifics, because the program is catered to the individual. So everyone's experience is going to be slightly different.
Excellent. Well, I think we've basically covered the basics, and now it's up for people out there to come and take a look and see if this is what they're interested in. But is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we go?
Anything. else? Yeah, your power is your birthright. And this is, I don't want to sound cliche, but we all have a potential that we could live up to. We're born with a potential, and you know it. There's like that. There's always that knowing in the back of our minds, like you could be doing more, you could be experiencing more. You have this ceiling you could reach and perhaps even exceed if you step into it. But it really starts with taking charge of today and owning up to where you're at. And you're only alive once. This is your only shot that we know of. You may as well make the most of it and live up to your own potential, because you don't want to get to the end of your life and think, man, I missed my chance.
You know, on that exact note, here's a funny story. I got an email years and years ago. It must have been the better part of a decade ago now, but I still think about this email from time to time. It was from somebody who was saying that they were like me. They were an English major. They had fallen down the rabbit hole about the same time I did in 2006. They had thought about starting a podcast or doing something like what I'm doing. And then they saw me do the Corbett Report, and they went, oh, you know, okay, well, he's doing that. I don't need to do it. And they decided not to do it and didn't go down that path. And I still think about that email from time to time, because I am so glad that I'm not that guy, that I'm the guy who actually decided to go ahead and do this and to step up and to realize my potential, because honestly, I think this is where I should be and this is what I should be doing. And I'm glad I wasn't the guy that stood back and, you know, I'll let someone else do it. No, I did it. So anyway, that idea really resonates deeply with me. If it resonates with you, or if you're at least intrigued, I hope you'll at least check it out, bennywills.com. But I think we're going to leave it there for today. Benny Wills, thanks for joining us today.
James, thank you so much.